The next day.
いらっしゃい。ご飯まだだよね。一緒に食べよう。
Thanks for having me here, and for the food. So, Kagi is at Chieri's house?
向こうでごちそうになるって言ってた。今頃すっごい豪華なディナーだったりしてね。
I wouldn't say that it's out of the question.
ちえりちゃんの家、大きなお屋敷だもんね。かぐやちゃん帰りたくないって言ったりして。
That isn't gonna happen.
私、ちえりちゃんちの子になるから。今までありがとう、お姉ちゃん。みつきさん。
What is this? What is this dream?
ダメー！かぐやちゃんが雪村さん家に取られちゃう！
That's not going to happen. And also, how many times has Mitsuki gone to Chieri's house and you're worried about this now? Or have you worried about this every time she's gone to Chieri's house and been proven wrong every time?
だって
Mitsuki puffs up her cheeks like a child about to throw a tantrum. There's not even an ounce of her older sister dignity in there. Kagi is coming home tonight for sure, so please relax.
そうだよね。かぐやちゃんは団子派からチョコ派に寝返ったりしないよね。
That's what she's worried about. Mitsuki's sensibilities are as unique as always.
じゃあご飯にしよっか。さあ召し上がれ。
Thank you very much for the meal.
お粗末様でした。
I'll help clean up.
大丈夫。ゆずきくんはゆっくりしてて。
Mitsuki always makes dango so skillfully, and she's also good at cooking in general. But
ちら。
I'm kind of getting the sense that Mitsuki is feeling fidgety. I wonder if her ears are twitching because she can't stay calm. I've heard that dogs shake their tails when they're happy, and Mikuri and Ichika's tails do when they are, but I wonder how that works for Hollandlops. If I'm intruding, should I just go home? Should I go home already?
そうじゃなくてね。むしろ逆っていうか、いてほしいっていうか。
Yeah, go home. A few steps away. And then you can come back.
ちょっと待っててね。
Okay. Mitsuki heads out of the room, looking a little flustered.
ゆずきくんだって男の子だから、二人きりだし、きっと期待してるよね。お姉さんなんだし、年上らしいところを見せなきゃ。
I sit around a little bewildered for a few moments. The door to Mitsuki's room opens again, and the scene that greets me steals the words right out of my mouth.
ほら、ゆずきくんも男の子だもんね。こういうの好きだよね。
I do. But isn't it a bit too early for there to be a hate scene? Mitsuki holds up the hem of her negligee, boldly showing me her white thighs. She has her waist turned to show off the line of her bottom and the shape of her childbearing hips. But her voice is shaking a little, and her smile feels fake, so it's easy to see that she's forcing herself to do this.
ゆずきくんも若いから溜まってるんでしょ。我慢しなくていいからね。お姉さんがリードしてあげる。
So, how much research did you do? It feels like time has stopped. Mitsuki? Mitsuki runs out of the room, the very image of a fleeing rabbit. The very image of a fleeing rabbit. I'm alone in her room once again.
ただいまお兄ちゃん、こんばんは。来てたんですね。
Well, that was quick. Yeah, hello.
顔が引きつってますけど、何かあったんですか？
Something definitely did happen. I don't know if it was good or bad. You could say that. Kaguya acutely tilts her head to the side a little. She would probably be shocked if I told her what actually happened. More importantly, I don't have the words to explain it to her, even if I wanted to. I think it's very easy to explain. Mitsuki tried to put the moves on you, failed miserably because she doesn't know how to actually be seductive, because of, you know, her nerves, and she ran away. Where did she go? Who knows, but she probably came back eventually, after a few hours, and after you left. The next day, during my shift, the instant she sees my face, Mitsuki's face turns turns as red as a piece of fruit. Right, you can count on me. This is awkward. Just how should I react to what happened yesterday? Should I pretend that I saw nothing? Laugh it off like she was joking? Probably don't do that one. No, Mitsuki was serious, and she was doing that for my sake. Which is exactly why I'm not sure how I should respond. You say that, but this is a little too sudden.
ゆずきくんだって男の子だから、そういうことしたいだろうし、もう私の方がお姉さんだからリードしてあげないとって思って。もしかしてゆずきくん、私とそういうことしたくない？
How'd you reach that conclusion? Hearing her ask me like that makes responding even more difficult. I mean, it's not like I don't want to. Mitsuki. I don't think it's a good idea to have a conversation like this in the shop, so I closed the distance between us and whispered to her. I know that you're not teasing me. You wouldn't do that, Mitsuki. It makes me happy, but it'll be a problem if you get me overstimulated. I mean, I won't be able to hold it back, you know. No, that's Riz. Mitsuki, flustered beyond endurance, retreats to the kitchen. Seeing her like that makes me wonder if what I just did was the right thing to do, was the right thing or not. It was. It definitely was. Aside from that one incident between Mitsuki and myself, Mochizuki is as peaceful as always. We finished closing up the shop, and all that's left is to go home. Or so I think. Huh? Where's Mitsuki? I don't see her anywhere. She always stays until the very end, so I can't imagine her going home first, but... Mitsuki slowly emerges from the back of the shop. But her face is red and her breathing is ragged. She's definitely not her usual self. What's the matter? Could you be sick, or... Shut up.
いや、そうじゃなくてね。聞いて驚かないで。というか、引かないでほしいんだけど。ウサギの獣人は、性欲がすごく強いの。
Beast folk possess traits from animals. Rabbits are a species that have survived through their amazing fecundity. How does that word? How do you pronounce that word? But still, for that trait to display itself like this, then just now.
してるの。
Yuzuki said one fucking thing, and you suddenly become in heat. So you suddenly get into heat. Mitsuki's in heat. She just said that. The simple yet shocking truth fires up my primal instincts. So what you did last time was also...
いや、あの時のは違うんだけど。
Oops. Well, if there was a reason, then please tell me what it was. It's you. You're the reason. Mitsuki fidgets, not wanting to say. But now that I'm asking directly...
ゆずきくんが我慢できないって言うから、ドキってしちゃったの。
I'm the reason? Yes, you're the reason, obviously.
そうだよ。好きな男の子にそんなこと言われたら、こっちだって我慢できないよ。
Sorry. I can't believe that would be enough to send her into heat, and I didn't mean to, of course.
体、熱くて、自分じゃもうどうにもできないの。
Well, I guess it isn't too early for a H scene.
だからゆずきくんが欲しい。ゆずきくんにしてほしい。ダメ？
Mitsuki stares at me, her eyes round and teary. Her cheeks are flushed, and my reasoning is on the verge of collapsing. And if this is indeed my fault, then I need to take responsibility. There's no way that I'd say no to you. I sit down on the tatami flooring and pull Mitsuki into my lap.
エッチしちゃったね。
Shit. Let's just, move this up a bit. Never mind, it didn't change anything. We sure did. God damn it. Oh. Well... No, it didn't change anything. I'll keep it like this. Because sometimes when I censor, I censor a bit more than just the nipple, right? So I'll just keep it like this for the other boob. But in regards to the H scene, pretty good. Alright, I was a bit worried because of Happy Maya and how much I liked that H scene and how much I was reminded of, how good the writing can be, I guess, quote-unquote good. But, they definitely did improve, and it was consistent between rounds. It wasn't like Amairo Chocolate 2, where Ichika's was good and the others weren't as good. It was consistent this time. Mitsuki lies on top of me, naked save for the upper half of her uniform. The desperate expression she had on her face before we lay together had disappeared, like it was never there, and in its place is a tranquil smile.
ありがとう、ゆずきくん。私に付き合ってくれて。
Please don't put it that way. I wanted to have sex with you too, after all.
ありがとう。
While I never expected our first time to end up being like this, I'm strangely satisfied with how it turned out. Connected with the person you love is more than just a pleasurable activity to enjoy. It fills your whole being with energy. I'm filled with the desire to touch Mitsuki, and I gently stroke her lop ears. Was that bad?
もっと撫でて。
Okay. I slowly and gently caressed her ears, from the base to their tips. The fluffy fur is nice and cozy, and I can feel the warmth of the blood flowing through them. Mitsuki's mouth curls up softly. Mitsuki's long Holland lop ears are one of the most endearing features. One of her most endearing features. Yeah. You didn't see that. So I tenderly and carefully stroked them.
もう一回キスしていい？
Of course. Her lips pressed softly against mine. Our mouths aren't becoming all entangled. We're just kissing gently. That's still enough to make my heart grow warmer and wrap me in a euphoric feeling.
キスしちゃった。
Even though we did some far more intense things a minute ago, that this simple kiss is enough to make us happy. For a moment, I childishly think that kisses are like magic.
私、ゆずきくんと恋人になれてよかった。
So am I. I'm really glad that I fell in love with you, and that you fell in love with me, Mitsuki.
きっと、ゆずきくんが好きって実感したのは、望月も私の一部だって言ってくれた時だと思うんだ。もちろん、それまでも好きだったけど、弟みたいな存在だって思ってた。
Yeah, but if your version of sibling love is the same as Kaguya's, then, you know...
だけど、今は
Right now?
大事な恋人だよ。
Mitsuki tells me her honest feelings with a smug smile on her face. Hearing something like that is enough to make even my face turn red. I can't just keep... I just can't keep up with you, Mitsuki.
よくわからないけど、褒められてる気がする。
Yes, I am.
やった
Her innocent expression of joy, one of the things that makes her seem younger than she is, drains the tension out of my shoulders. Please step by my side from here on, Mitsuki.
ー。よろしくね、ゆずきくん。
The next morning, right, actually, you know what? I'm glad that I did change the opacity of the text box because I just realized that, you know, there was another part of her that was showing. And unlike her nipples, they were actually, it was actually censored by the text box.
おはよう。今日もいい朝だね。おはよう。昨日帰るの遅かったけど、何してたの？いけこキック？顔赤いよ。大人の付き合いっていうか、そう、たまたまひのかさんと会ってお酒飲んでたの。いや、話が弾んじゃってね。
That is such an easy excuse to debunk. Why would you say that? Why would you...
あれ？ひのかさん出張中だっていちかさんが言ってたような。
Well, there you go. Even then, I was like, you could just easily ask Hinoko what happened, and she would have easily been able to be like, oh, we did this, this, and this. And, you know, Mitsuki wasn't involved in any of it.
気のせいじゃないかな。あはは、あはははは。ん？お姉ちゃん、なんか変だよ。私が変なのはいつものことだよ。それもそうだね。そこで納得しないで。
It's better than her finding out. Even if she may suspect something already.
さあ、今日も頑張ろう。
It's before opening time and Mitsuki is speaking to the shop staff. One person walks up to her.
ハロウィンの時はすみませんでした。
Anzu, who hasn't been to the shop in a while, bows her head deeply.
気にしなくていいって。誰だって突発的なトラブルはあるから。でも、それより怪我はもういいの？部活とか大丈夫？はい、 今はこの通りピンピンしてます。部活ももう出ていいってお医者さんに OK もらいました。ならもう万全だね。よかったよかった。
Mitsuki nods her head in relief. But the look on Anzu's face is one of frustration.
ハロウィン出られなかった分、クリスマスは頑張りますから、精一杯働きます。そりゃクリスマス当日出てくれるとありがたいけど、本当にいいの？無理してない？無理なんかしてません。任せてください。そっか、頼りにしてるね。
It seems like Anzu was hung up about what happened at Halloween, but her positive attitude has left Mitsuki standing there with a grimace on her face.
作戦会議終了。もういるってば。そうだった。
I feel like we've been through this before. I wasn't going to mention it. And putting that aside, it's time to get to the main point.
こうして集まってもらったのは他でもありません。望月のこれからを話し合うためです。正直今の状況は良くないと思います。ハロウィンの件でアンズちゃんが必要以上に責任感じちゃってるし、このままだと人手不足がより顕在化していくはずです。
If that happens, the people currently working will need to take on more work, and they might end up quitting. It'll become a vicious cycle. Being short on manpower will just cause us to grow even more shorter on manpower.
あと現実的にもう11月も終わりだから、クリスマスに向けて人手を増やすなら一刻も早く採用しないと。研修が必要だし、実際に仕事して慣れないと忙しいクリスマスは大変だろうしね。
Kaguya nods, a serious look on her face. The three of us here understand the problem. But as for a solution...
やっぱり獣人だけだと限界があるよね。獣人は少ないから。
I've never thought much about it, since there are so many beast folk in my life, but beast folk are ridiculously outnumbered by humans. No shit. You already know what Mitsuki wants to do, right, Kaguya?
はい。私はお姉ちゃんの夢を手伝うために夕凪町に来ましたから。
I don't think it should be that surprising that humans outnumber beast folk, considering the fact that the rest of Unigicho is filled with humans. You can count on both hands how many beast folk you've seen, right? You've got everyone in the dorms, Anzu, Natsume, Ichika's mom, and you see, you can't count Kohana in this situation because he doesn't know she exists. I can only imagine how big a decision it was for Kaguya, who is very shy, to move to a new town like this. That just goes to show how much she loves Mitsuki. I'm not counting Chieri's family, but they would also be part of that. I wonder why Mochizuki's main shop is so insistent on hiring beast folk. Has it always been that way?
まあ、それはあるだろうね。でも勘違いしないでほしいんだけど、お父さんはきっと人間が嫌いなわけじゃない。
Yeah, that'd be pretty awkward if he found out that his daughter was dating a human.
望月本店だってお客さんは当然人間の方が多いし、人間だからって嫌な顔したこともないし。
And in the harem route, it'd be even more awkward if their dads found out both daughters were dating the same human.
多分怖いんだよ。人間に正体がバレるのも、人間が入ることでお店が変わるのも。
But you know, in that situation, I think there would be something else he would get mad over, other than the fact that Yuzuki is a human.
作るお団子は柔らかいくせにさ、お団子を見習ってもっと頭柔らかくすればいいのに。あはは、多 確かに頑固かも。
A hard-headed craftsman who's Mitsuki and Kaguya's father. I don't think I can imagine what kind of person he is, especially since he sounds the complete opposite of his dad, of Yuzuki's dad. Humans are scary. I guess that's why some people only want to work at places staffed solely with beast folk.
そうだと思います。獣人であることがバレると追放されるかもしれませんから。
I haven't mentioned this. I don't see why this is even a problem. Right? Sure, there is a difference between working with humans and serving them, right? But considering the customer base of Mochizuki and Mochizuki 2, I don't know about Mochizuki, but at least Mochizuki 2 is 99% humans. I don't see why there would be a problem with hiring them. Right? Because, like, sure, okay, Yuzuki's kind of an exception to Mochizuki's hiring, because he already knows about beast folk, so it's not like he's going to tell anyone. He's not going to tell any humans. He's not going to try to leak any of the beast folk stuff, right? That's whatever. He's already been accepted into the community. Fine. But you're already serving humans, right? Your customers are already humans. Why would there be such a difference with working with them? Right?
でもそれだけじゃなくて、獣人は違う生き物だから。
Because, okay, I'm not bringing up Sweet's Tale, right? Sweet's Tale's an entirely different thing. Ichika and Nana are the only beast folk working there, so you don't need to worry about how uncomfortable those two are with having human employees, because they are essentially the owner and co-owner. It is not co-owner but friend of the owner kind of thing, so it's like both of them hold more power than the humans working there, sort of thing. The only reason Kaguya, Mitsuki and Yuzuki are debating over this, right, in the difficulty of hiring humans, is because of Anzu and Natsume, who are just regular beast folk who are working at Mochizuki 2. You know, maybe they did, maybe they didn't sign up for working with other humans other than Yuzuki. That's whatever. But you won't know until you tell them that you might want to hire more humans, or might want to hire other humans other than Yuzuki.
正体がバレなくても、危害を加えられるわけじゃなくても、それだけで怖いと思う人もいると思います。
A different species. They look the same as us, other than the ears and tails, and we speak the same language. If we use some special medicine, we can even have children together. Yeah, you're thinking about that while in front of Mitsuki, aren't you? Despite that, though, there's definitely a barrier between our species. It's something shapeless and invisible, but I'm all too aware of how real it is.
あ、来た。そろそろ時間だったね。
Did you have an appointment with someone?
かぐやちゃん、迎えに来たよ。よ。
Here to pick you up. Where are you going, Kaguya?
はい、今日はちえりちゃん家でお泊まり会なんです。
Oh, really?
つうわけで、かぐやもらってくぜ。
Uh-huh. You're gonna take Kaguya with you, and only Kaguya, and you're gonna leave Mitsuki and Yuzuki here by themselves. You know, the first time they were left alone, shit may have gone wrong, because, you know, Mitsuki wasn't really in the right mood to fuck Yuzuki, but they've already done it before, So it's not like she's gonna have the same problems this time around.
かぐやちゃん。
Mikuri hugs Kaguya with a big smile on her face. Mikuri is a hugging friend as always.
でもどうしてゆずきくんがみつきさんの部屋にいるの？ふーん、そういうことか。
Mikuri turns her head to the side in confusion, while Nana leers over at me and Mitsuki with a grin on her face. I mean, okay, that's not the reason he's here. The reason he's here was because of a meeting between the staff of Mochizuki 2, but you're not wrong. It looks like she figured out our secret in a single moment.
じゃあ行ってきます。いってらっしゃい。ナナちゃんが言ってたそういうことってどういうこと？
Okay. I think she's realized that the two of us are together.
恥ずかしい。
So, what's Ichika doing? Nana seems to have figured it out, but we're going to have to tell everyone else, I think.
でもかぐやちゃんが友達のお家にお泊まりなんて社交的になったな。これも成長かな。
Yeah, but that friend is Chieri, so, you know.
このままだとかぐやちゃんが本当にちえりちゃんちの子に。
Okay, well, that just confirms that, yes, Mitsuki always has that thought whenever Kaguya goes over to Chieri's house. I told you, it's going to be okay. Mitsuki is worrying for no reason yet again.
だけど最近お泊まりやお出かけが多いし、私たちに気を使ってくれてるのかな。気にしなくていいのに。
Are you sure? I mean, to be fair, their first time was at Mochizuki 2, so, you know, when we want to spend time together, it might be better to do it in my room.
だね。でも今日はかぐやちゃんに甘えてこっちでいいかな。
Yeah, but tonight we can do it in Mitsuki's room.
さて、そろそろ店長として決めないといけないよね。今のまま獣人だけのお店にするか、人間を迎え入れるか。もちろん獣人のことを知ってるゆずきくんは例外だけどね。
If she does decide to hire humans, there might be some beast folk on the staff who will quit.
そんなの選べないよって言いたいところだけど。
Yeah, but that's still a hypothetical. Just ask them. How do you know that Anzu and Natsume are fucking against hiring other humans? I'm sure that there's going to come to a point where a clear-cut decision has to be made. This is the same kind of scenario as when Nana was debating over what fucking alcohol was used in the opera cake, right? Just, you know, I forgot her name, but just, you know, Nana could have just fucking asked the person who wrote the recipe and didn't have to, you know, pull out her hair trying to figure out which fucking alcohol was used. But no, she just had to go through the entire part of that route trying to figure it out, and only after bringing in Mikuri, who has a good ass nose, were they able to figure out that, oh, it was none of the alcohol syrups that were used in the shop. It was something that she brought in herself, right? And that was only figured out, coincidentally enough, through Mitsuki drinking sake. So, you know, instead of worrying about whether or not Anzu and Natsume will quit because you're hiring humans, why don't you ask them or tell them what your plan is and go from there? It isn't that hard. I don't know what will happen yet, but I think Mitsuki already knows which way she wants to go. Let's tell everyone. Why is that a surprise? How about we tell everyone on the staff at Mochizuki how you feel? I think that needs to be the first step. If everyone's against it, we can talk to them about it. Let's tell them our thoughts until we run out of words.
大丈夫かな。みんないなくなったりしないかな。
You think everyone will leave if you tell them that you're going to hire humans? I think the likelihood of them leaving will increase if you don't tell them and just do it anyway. There might be some folks who quit, but it won't be every last person. I'm only bringing up Anzu and Natsume because those are the only names we know. I don't know how many actual people Mitsuki hired other than those two. I know there's like an afternoon staff kind of thing that was working at Halloween, right? And whatever. I don't know how many people those are. I guarantee they're all Beast Folk too, obviously. But still. Well, and what if everyone does leave? Then we'll figure things out then. It's fine. Everything's going to work out somehow. Kagi and I are absolutely going to stay by your side, Mitsuki.
そうだね。
We don't know what the future holds. In that case, all I can do is support Mitsuki with everything I've got. No matter what might happen, as long as we're alive, I'm sure things will work out. In case anyone does quit, let's talk to Hinoka and see if there are other spots that are staffed solely by Beast Folk, other shops that are staffed solely by Beast Folk.
確かにそれは必要だね。あと、更衣室も獣人バレが起きないように対策しないと。
Yeah, I know a shop that's staffed solely by Beast Folk. It's called Sataria. But that's because it's only staffed by 2.
望月を変えるために夕凪町に来たんだから、ここでビビってたら意味ないよね。
I guess Sataria only has 2 staff members.
行くぞー。
Yeah. Now that she's got her drive back, Mitsuki raises her fist towards the ceiling. While some of it might just be for show, if she wants to achieve her dream, then she has to keep pushing forward.
悩んだらお腹空いちゃった。ご飯にしようっと。ゆずきくんも食べるよね。ついでに泊まっていくといいよ。
I'd be happy to take you up on that offer.
やったー。ゆずきくんと一緒だ。
Yeah? Whoa. Mitsuki snuggles me vigorously like a kid. Don't think about kids. Well, you can think about making them, but you just, probably avoid thinking about kids while Beast Folk's strength staggers me a little bit, but I'm able to hold my ground somehow. I hug Mitsuki back tightly as I feel her warmth where she's in contact with me. She makes dinner for us, and then I take my bath. Right now, Mitsuki's in the bath. Okay, and then she's gonna, Mitsuki is naked. No. When I think about it, an image of a naked Mitsuki rises up in my mind. I maybe spending the night, but I wasn't thinking along those lines. We can always do it some other time. Yeah, but what other time would be more perfect than this? When Kagi is away. Sure, you could always do it at your place, right? 3 rooms away, but what if you wanted to do it here? This is one of the only few times you'll be able to do it in Mitsuki's dorm, because, it can't be Mitsuki's and Kaguya's dorm if Kaguya isn't here. Wink, wink. I don't know why I did that. Never mind. No, if I have the chance, should I be more proactive? Something touches my foot. When I pick it up, I see it's a small pink egg-shaped thing. Ah, really? I've never seen anything like this before, but somehow I feel like it reminds me of something. Maybe.
いいお湯 だった。
Uh-huh.
それどこにあったの？
It was on the floor of the room.
嘘！こんなところにあったんだ。
She looks at the pink object in my hand and hardly leaves the room. So why is it here? I get the impression this is something I wasn't supposed to see. Does this belong to you, Mitsuki? Mitsuki's mouth opens and closes quietly as her face turns red. In other words, this is something that she wants to hide because it's embarrassing. Either, Mitsuki owns it or it was given to her by Ichika. As I process that thought, I finally realize what this object's purpose is. Oh, could this be?
そうだよ！大人のおもちゃだよ！
She's definitely embarrassed. Her face is all red. When I imagine Mitsuki enjoying herself with this, I start feeling aroused too. How do you normally use this?
言わなきゃいけない。
You don't have to, but I'd like to know.
ゆずきくんが想像してる通りだと思うよ。乳首とかクリトリスとか気持ちいいところに当ててスイッチ入れるの。
Mitsuki's face grows even redder, and she fidgets, rubbing her thighs together. Seeing her like this leaves me in no state to resist my urges. Since we've already got it here, why don't we try it out? After work ends for the day, it's time for us to do what we always do when we're planning the new menu, taste testing. It was a quickie but a goodie. But I'm glad they cleared up any misunderstandings about whether or not Yuzuki was potentially going to expose her secret to the other girls of, her secret of having a vibrator. Sure.
じゃーん！冬の期間限定メニュー、みかん大福です。どうぞ！ゆずきくんも、はい。
Thank you very much. Here goes. I bite into the daifuku that Mitsuki gave me. The fresh sweetness of the white anko and the refreshing tartness of the orange fill the inside of her mouth. It's a different balance of sweet and sour than a strawberry daifuku. I feel like I could eat a bunch of these.
みかん大福おいしい。ハンズちゃんありがとう。そして新しいレギュラーメニューとして、じゃんじゃじゃーん！辛口みたらし団子。辛口？
Mitsuki brings out some flat dango skewers covered in a thick layer of sauce. There's an appetizing scent of lightly roasted soy sauce rising up from them.
これも美味しい。甘辛い味付けでお酒も進みそうですね。私これ好きです。
I think this is even better than the last batch.
でしょ？タレにこだわったんだから。
Many nights with your mouth on fire. We spent many nights with your mouth on fire. This batch isn't as salty as the last one, and I can taste the richness of the soy sauce. On top of that, the dango is cooked just right. Maybe part of it is that this batch was made in the shop's kitchen, but the flavor has improved in every way. Once again, today's tasting party is a success. But that's not the main reason for our meeting tonight. As Kagi and I watch, Mitsuki gathers herself and begins to speak.
皆さん、今日はとても大事な話があります。試食しながらでいいので聞いてください。今日シフトに入ってない人には改めて伝えますが、望月ではこれから人間の従業員を雇用しようと考えています。
Murmuring begins to spread throughout the shop, but it soon quiets down and the various animal ears turn towards Mitsuki in order to focus on what she has to say.
皆さんも薄々感じていると思いますが、望月は慢性的に人手不足です。だから人間の従業員を雇って人員を確保したいと思っています。でもそれだけじゃないんです。
Mitsuki turns her gaze to everyone in the shop. Anzu, Natsume, all the part-timers, Kaguya, and then me. And then to me. She looks directly into the eyes before... looks me directly in the eyes before she continues.
私には夢がありました。それは、望月というお店を人間と一緒にやっていくことです。話したことがあるかもしれないけど、私の実家である望月本店は獣人だけで運営しているお店です。でも人間のお客さんも望月を愛してくれている。だから店員として望月で一緒に頑張ってくれる人もきっといると思うんです。結局獣人の存在を人間に明かすことはできません。私の独りよがりかもしれません。それでも私は人間と獣人で望月を作っていきたいんです。だけどこんなことを言ってる時点で、たとえ私が思い直したとしても、もうここでは働けない人もいると思います。私の考えを裏切りだと思う人もいるかもしれません。もし辞めるなら待遇は変わってしまいますけど、日向さんに頼んで他の獣人だけのお店に移ってもらうこともできます。だからどう思ってるか率直に聞かせてください。
Mitsuki puts her earnest feelings into words and conveys them to the staff of Mochizuki. She nervously waits for their answers, looking like she's on the verge of trembling. And then...
あ、大丈夫です。
いいんじゃないでしょうか。
そうだよね。簡単には受け入れられ。
Who would have guessed it wasn't that big of a deal? The part-timers aren't upset. They're not even all that surprised. Their reaction was more, oh, I guess we're doing that now. Kaguya stands there, mouth agape. I wasn't expecting things to turn out like this, so I've probably got a similar look on my face too. No, that's not the right reactions you should be having. You and Kaguya should be like, oh, yeah, this makes sense for them to have this sort of reaction. The only reason Mitsuki should be reacting like this is because of her insecurities. Alright? I don't think you should be so surprised by beast folks wanting to work with humans, like fucking Nana and Ichika aren't working with humans all the fucking time.
そこはこう、人間なんかと一緒に働けるかってなるところじゃないの？
Mitsuki, you're the only one saying that.
でも、望月はゆずきくん以外は獣人だけだからって来てくれた人もいるよね。あんずちゃんだってそうだったでしょ？
That's right. Anzu was one of the people who chose Mochizuki because it was a beast folk shop. So I wonder why she was able to say so easily that she was fine working with humans.
言っておくけど、この前のハロウィンがああなったから言ってるんじゃないんだよ。だから無理して我慢するのはやめてね。
いえ、本当に我慢してるわけじゃないんです。確かに最初は人間がいないからここにしました。でも美月さんと白川さんを見てたら人間がいても大丈夫かなって思うようになりまして。
Maybe you shouldn't have been watching Yuzuki and Mitsuki considering they're dating each other. Me? I tilt my head to the side when I hear my name come up. I don't recall doing anything particularly special for Anzu, except for being a human.
ゆずきくんがどうして出てきたの？
Or is it because Mitsuki and Yuzuki are dating each other that you're okay with human employees?
私は人間と同じ学校に通ってて、一応人間の友達もいます。 でもやっぱり獣人と人間の間には壁があると思ってました。
Because like if that's the reason, I don't think you should be using that as a good example, considering, you know, Mitsuki doesn't need to ever worry about if she should expose herself to if she should expose that she's a beast fog to Yuzuki, because he already knew.
だから人間と一緒に働くのはなんとなく怖いと思ってました。ふとした拍子に獣人であることがバレたり、何か価値観の違いでトラブルになったりするんじゃないかって。だけど一緒に働く美月さんと白川さんを見てて、獣人と人間って一緒にいられるんだなって思ったんです。白川さんは獣人のことを知っている特別な人間です。でもそれだけじゃなくて、美月さんやかぐやととっても仲が良くて、それに美月さんを一生懸命支えて、そんな白川さんを見てたら、人間と一緒に働くのもいいんじゃないかなって。もちろん白川さんみたいにいい人ばかりじゃないし、全く怖くなくなったわけじゃないですけど、やってみてもいいなって思ったんです。まあ気持ちの問題ですね。よく考えたら獣人バレで追放されたなんて実際聞いたことないし、相手が獣人でも気に食わないことってありますから。
I feel like I've just been working normally. I never imagined that normality itself could set an example for others.
夏目さんはどうですか？
私は周りに獣人が多い方が気が楽かなというくらいでしたので、お店が人間も雇うという方針でしたらそれに従います。同じ夕凪町のスイートテイルでは獣人も人間も一緒に働いていますし、多くの獣人は正体を隠して働くものですから、別に大丈夫だと思いますよ。
Oh, they finally brought up Sweet's tale, huh? It's a rational opinion, coming from the eldest member of the group. Other shops can do it just fine, so there should be no reason Mochizuki can't. Yeah, that's a good argument you should be using on your dad, Mitsuki.
私の葛藤は何だったの？あはは。
要するに美月さんと白川さんがすっごく仲いいから、獣人とか人間とかあんま気にならなくなったってことです。
Like I said, probably shouldn't use their relationship as an example, because the main problem with the beast folk and human dating each other is that the beast folk is eventually going to have to expose that she's a beast folk to the human, unless she wants to keep it a secret for the rest of their life. And, you know, we've seen what could go wrong if the beast folk accidentally exposes themselves as a beast folk when they didn't mean to. So, you know, how do you know that isn't a possibility for actually maybe just stop it. I was gonna continue talking, but just stop it. You know, the example in Ichika's route, that Mitsuki's face turns red like a fire was lit beneath it. When I think about it that way, I feel embarrassed too. It almost feels like everyone knows about our relationship. You're not being subtle about it.
っていうか、美月さんと白川さん付き合ってるんですよね。
You knew?
一人のバイトをひいきしているとか思われるといけないから黙ってたのに。どうしてわかったの？
そんなの見てたらわかりますよ。
ですね。
Yeah, especially that smell that was permeating throughout Mochizuki that one time you two were staying back a little later than usual. You two really didn't do a good job of cleaning up after yourselves.
夏目さんまでこいつ年下のバイトに骨抜きにされてるんだ。
ちょろい女だぜって陰で思われたら店長やっていけないよ。
Oh no, the fragility of the power dynamic between Mitsuki the manager and Yuzuki the part-timer.
誰もそこまで言ってないよ。
美月さんが店長として頑張ってるのは知っていますから大丈夫ですよ。
そうですそうです。そんなに気にしなくてもいいですって。
It's not like you were already living in the same dorm as your part-timer or anything.
まああんまりお店でイチャイチャされたらムカついてお店辞めるかもしれませんけど。望月の危機。
What's with all these backhanded compliments? While she's being assured that everything is fine, they're also sticking with their needles. They're also sticking her with needles. We'll have to make sure to keep things in the shop going, as they have been up to this point.
でも今働いてる人の声が聞けてよかった。参考にさせてもらうね。それじゃあ皆さん、これからもよろしくお願いします。
はい
はい、よろしくお願いします。
こうなるとは思わなかったね。
The only silver lining to this conflict is that the only silver lining to this conflict is that it was resolved a lot quicker than Sweet's tales in Nana's route, because Mitsuki did what Nana should have done a lot faster, which was ask their employees if they're okay with hiring humans, or Nana asking about the recipe to that one girl. I'm not going to remember her name. Same. So now everyone knows that we're dating, or rather, they've actually known for a while. It's a little embarrassing to think about.
人間のこと受け入れてもらえてよかった。ほっとしちゃったよ。これもゆずきくんのおかげだよ。
Oh, no, I didn't do anything. In the end, Mitsuki's worries have proven unfounded. I really haven't done anything special. But I guess I've learned that even doing nothing special can have an impact on other people.
でも大事なのはこれからだよ。実際に人間の従業員ができたらトラブルが起きるかもしれないからね。
That's true. Let's talk to Hinuka and get her advice too. Hinuka runs a number of businesses, so she probably knows about various kinds of trouble Beast Folk can find themselves in, as well as how to solve those issues. There's a good chance she'll have some helpful ideas for us. Oh yeah, I was thinking about this before, but would you mind teaching me how to make Mochizuki dango?
もちろんいいけど、どうして？
Because I think it's got to be hard on the manager to be at the shop all day every day, which is why I think an assistant manager would be good to have around. And wouldn't it make more sense for the manager and assistant manager to be dating instead of a manager and a part-timer?
じゃあゆずきくんが副店長に？
Eventually, I think. Although there are a lot of things I need to learn first.
そっかそっか。お店のこと考えてくれてるの嬉しいな。よーし、ビシバシしごいてあげるから覚悟しててね。
Yeah, in Mochizuki and in the bedroom. Or... never mind. Sure, I'm looking forward to it. They already used Mochizuki's as a bedroom.
お、言うね。
Mitsuki grins and giggles. Making dango is probably pretty tough, but I'm sure it'll be fine as long as I'm with Mitsuki. Also, I know it's really late, but this is for your birthday.
ありがとう。
I take out the present I had in my pocket and hand it to her. I could have done it back in the dorm, but I wanted to give it to her as soon as possible.
なんか薄くて小さいような。何かのチケット？
Please open it up and take a look.
どれどれ。あ、温泉旅行だ。
Kaguya said that you love hot springs, Mitsuki.
好き。特に温泉に浸かりながら飲むお酒が最高でね。
As she says that, Mitsuki's expression loosens up. Please be careful not to drink too much, okay?
そこはゆずきくんが見ててよ。温泉楽しみだな。
It's kind of far, so we'll have to switch between buses and trains. Sorry about that.
そんなの気にしなくていいって。一緒に小旅行なんて嬉しいし。
You know, Mitsuki was able to experience a hot springs during Kaguya's route, and now she'll be able to do the same during her own route.
あ、そうだ。それならいい考えがあるよ。
What kind of idea?
楽しみにしててね。
Hot spring sex. A devil-may-care smile rises up on Mitsuki's face. She won't tell me what she's got in mind. All she'll say is that she wants me to be surprised on the day.